The divine bliss, which is the source of all happiness, is related to its knowledge that was revealed in its original form by the supreme divine power, Krishna, during his miraculous appearance in this world. That was the Gita, the origin of all the spiritual isms and the knowledge of all the knowledges, which has now been further simplified by His Divinity Swami Prakashanand Saraswati, the foremost disciple of Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Maharaj, who is the supreme divine descension of this age. The Gita is not only a philosophy, it is a promise of God.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah.
It tells to merge all the spiritual formalities into the exclusiveness of loving devotion to the supreme form of God, and you will receive His vision.
Navaghana Shyama Kausheyavasasam Sanandam Sundaram Shuddham Shri Krishnam Prakrite Param Namaha Kamalanam Bhaya Namaha Kamalamalini Namaha Kamalapandaya Namaste Kamale Kshanam. The Divine Souls, in continuation of the verse Man Manavaho Madhvakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru, I explain. Krishna says, keep me in your mind or give your mind to me. Those who are in material consciousness, I explain there are two kinds of people. Those who are totally in the material world, never thinking of God, and some who think of God when they have some problem and they pray God, please God help me. So this second kind of people are much better than the first kind, because at least they have some faith in God of some kind. So when this second kind of people, they understand the fact that God gives only His bliss, and this world is not blissful, world is only full of illusion, short-lived happiness and discontentment forever. So if they change their mind, they can enter into divine love consciousness, or bhakti, or prema bhakti. There are some more people who remain in the worldly field, material field. You see, there are two things: divine field and material field. Divine field only one kind, divine. Material field has many spaces, many kinds of entertainment, many kinds of amazing powers. Anyway, so some people worship gods and goddesses, celestial gods and goddesses. Krishna says, Devan Devayo Yanti. They don't come to me. Devan Devayajaha. Those who worship celestial gods and goddesses, and if their worship is really faithful, honest, sincere, wholehearted, what will they receive? Celestial abode, nothing else. Just like worshipping Agni Dev, god of fire or fire, worshipping Varun Dev, worshipping Indra, god of rain, king of gods, Varun Dev, god of water, Vayu Dev, god of air. So those who worship these gods and goddesses, they are also celestial beings and they have much higher power. They have their own abode, but they are celestial abodes. Gita explains, A Brahmbhonal Lokah Punaravartinah. Even up to Brahmalok, if you reach there, you have to come back. They are all material. So any kind of consciousness related to any of these celestial abodes, doesn't matter how faithfully you are doing, will only fetch material consequence, not the divine consequence. So even if you are worshipping any god with a small g, and you believe, oh no, he is Supreme God, it won't make any difference. Your faith must be correct, because faith cannot convert the quality of the thing or quality of the person you are worshipping. Take it like this. Suppose someone gave you a piece of gold, a gold coin. You thought, oh, it's a gold coin. You believe it was a gold coin. So you kept it. And the man who got the gold coin was a very poor person. So he treasured it. Oh, a gold coin I possess. I'll keep it for my future. Then he needed some money. When he was in distress, he went to a jeweler and asked, could you please buy this gold coin? I want some money. Jeweler examined. He said, no, it's not gold coin. It's a alloy. Only 9 karat gold. A good brass, you can say. You can have just a few dollars. That's all, not very much. Couple of dollars. The man was shocked. Oh, I treasured this for 20 years with faith. Yes. But your faith was in a wrong place. Your faith cannot convert the quality of the thing you are possessing. So if you are worshipping any personality with faith, you see, worship is always with faith. How will you worship then? Worshipping is always with faith. But your faith has no concern what is in your faith. What is the concern? What is that personality? What is he you are worshipping? What is he? That's it. So you receive the consequence of that personality. So even if Shraddhayarchitamicchati yan devavrataya devan. Devavrata, Krishna says. Devavrata means who worship wholeheartedly with full faith, believing that God will give him eternal happiness, and they worship their whole life. And then what do they receive? They enter into the abode of that particular God. But God Himself is material being. All celestial beings, there are two kinds. Celestial beings, they are mic powers. And most of celestial beings, they go from this world and enjoy for some time and come back. So, original celestial beings, which are mic powers personified, like Indra, Varuna, Kuber, Dikpal, they are mic powers. So, if you worship these mic powers, you stay in Maya realm under the bondage of Maya, your faith will not liberate you. It makes no difference of your faith and sincerity. The person you worshipped was material. So Krishna says very clearly. So don't make a mistake. Come to me as Krishna. Now you are going to worship gods and goddesses. So this kind of worship to celestial figures also is a material worship in a higher level. There are some more people who worship their own soul. Worship their own soul. And believing that, oh, soul is God. So we will receive God realization or liberation. This is of two kinds. Some worship their soul just by extreme austerity, renunciation, deep thinking, and some meditation. Other kind, they follow the actual course of Patanjali Yoga. Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. They are eightfold yogas, 8 steps of yoga. So, anyway, these two kinds of worshippers of their own self, where do they remain? Wherever they are. They remain wherever they are, and where they are, under the bondage of Maya. Gita has said, Buddhe Ratma Mahan Para Mahata Paramavyakt Mavyaktat Purushah Para. Buddhe Atma. Buddhi, Atma, mind and soul, and Maya and God. Beyond your mind is your soul. So mind cannot reach soul directly. Beyond soul is Maya. And beyond Maya is God. Means God controls Maya. Maya controls all the souls. So, beyond soul is Maya. Maya is great, very powerful. And soul, Anupravana. Anu means so small, so tiny, so minute. Soul is actually a very, very minute energy. And this Maya is great. So Maya controls the soul. How does it control? By its own nature. So, since eternity, soul is like this. Don't think that sometimes soul was pure, then Maya took over the control and soul became worldly. No, not like that. Since eternity, soul was like that. So, karmas of soul are also eternal. It is also an element of this world. So, soul eternal and Maya is eternal and soul's form is eternal. So, since eternity, it is under the control of Maya, under the influence of Maya, under the bondage of Maya. So, soul is under the bondage since eternity. It cannot cross Mayic power. Maya is great. Beyond Maya is God. Beyond Maya, not within. You have to cross Maya to reach Krishna. So Krishna says, these worshippers of self, they do great devotions to their own self. Anyway, tat sukham sattukam proktam atma buddhi prasadayam. Same Gita, 18th chapter. Tat sukham, the pleasure of that self, sattukam proktam. It is sattvic sukh. Sattvic, not gunatit. And sattva is a quality of Maya. Atma buddhi prasadayam. Atma buddhi means his mind is absorbed in his own self. Atma buddhi prasadayam, with the effect of that kind of practice, he receives a kind of bliss. But that bliss is material bliss. Material bliss of many kinds. You see your worldly sensual entertainments of all these five senses, material bliss, temporary. Celestial bliss. In the celestial world, people receive the same kind of entertainment, but in a very refined state. That like you enjoy the pleasure of your eyes, the pleasure of your ears, the pleasure of your smell, perfume, the pleasure of your palate, the pleasure of sex, all kinds of pleasures. Worldly, yeah, five senses. So same five sensual pleasure are in the celestial abodes. But they are more elevated, more refined. For instance, suppose you use your eyes too much in front of light, you might get less eyesight, the eyes might get hurt. In celestial abode, your eyes never get hurt. You never become blind. You never become old. You never become sick. This kind of body you have. But you have to die still. Your age limit is fixed. Maybe a few years, or a few thousand years, or a few hundred years, whatever it is, you know. At least here you don't know your death time, so you are an illusion. At least don't know when you are going to die. So you can keep on feeling good in the world. But there you know, as soon as you enter celestial world, you know that you have come here for that particular period of time. So you see your death, oh, in that time, other particular year, I am going to die. That also makes you unhappy. And celestial enjoyments, maybe they are refined. Enjoy as much as you can, yet discontentment, dissatisfaction is also same as in this world. You can see it here. It's like material heaven. Those who are very wealthy people have a very fine, good, wonderful house like a palace, many servants, many companions, many friends, enjoying luxury of the world. and his own servant of the servant, staying in a small one bedroom apartment, sharing with somebody else also. He also enjoying the pleasure of his senses. So in this world you can see that those who have higher status and those who have lower status, the kind of their enjoyment does not differ very much. The contentment they receive to some extent does not differ very much. Their status differs. So similarly, status is very high in celestial abode, but discontentment is as in this world. No difference, no change. So, all the same, that's all. But anyway, the soul has worshipped that God wholeheartedly with full faith in whatever he received, just for a limited period of time, celestial abode. So Krishna said, don't make that mistake. And those who worship their own soul, what do? As I explained, they do samadhi, yoga, renunciation, and thinking of self as expansion of this world. Their own self, expansion. So, thinking of that world is expansion of their own self, this is the kind of Atma Gyan self-realization they attain. So their practice is very hard. Renunciation, very important to practice yoga. The very first sutra is your mind must not be fickle. Chitta vritti nirodha. That is yoga. Means if your mind is very fickle going into worldly subjects and objects, you cannot start yoga. So renunciation, faithfully, sincerely, wholeheartedly, for the whole life long practicing yoga, then a few more lifetimes doing the same thing without falling in the world, but they are worshipping only their soul. So worshipping their soul, Krishna says, they cannot receive my grace because they have not come to me. They have not come to me. They remain on their own imagined state of spiritualism. So one may think that is following a spiritual path, but it is not spiritual. Spiritual is divine. Divine path is separate and material path is separate. That comes under the category of material good. That's it. Satvikam sukhamatmotham. Bhagavatam says, Satvik Sukh. You are developing your Sattva Guna. That's it, nothing else. What is Sattva Guna? Sattva, Rajatam means pious quality. This Maya, this whole world, has three main qualities: Sattva, Rajatam. Tamoguna, bad quality. Sattva, pious quality. Rajoguna, in between. So Sattva is developed. But Sattva is developed on the base of self-thinking, on the base of yoga. And if that yogi is involved in his own yogic powers, he is no more than a worldly person. How? Say for instance, suppose a wealthy man, he has some very precious jewels in his safe. Sometimes he takes out from the safe and looks, oh, I own that jewel, admires and puts it back because they are very precious. He does sometimes when he is on leave or not doing anything important. Feels great, oh, I own that jewel, I possess that jewel. My friends don't have that thing. He feels great, a kind of greatness. Just the jewel What else? Just a stone. Just a stone, what else? Maybe it must be very much valuable. So, what a yogi does when he has some powers, he thinks, oh, I have this kind of power. I can produce apple out of air. And my friends, these worldly people, these worldly folk, they cannot do it. He has a pride. What else? So, wealthy man has a pride of possessing a jewel. Yogi has a pride of possessing a psychic power. Their minds are fully attached in the pride and ego and vanity. What is all that? Material consciousness. So in this way, Krishna says, no, you have to leave all that and come to me only. That is divine love consciousness. So the rest of this topic I'll explain in the next meeting. That's all for today. Now we'll do chanting. Believing Krishna's greatness, kindness and love and simplicity of his teachings which he explained, just come to me, I'll take care of everything. It's such a relief, such a hope to be in the hands of someone who is almighty, great and supreme. So feeling the protection of Krishna, we will chant the name. गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय गोविंद जय जय